of kind of saying the depth of processing kind of thing. Although elaboration can also mean just like the more that you do with something, the more likely you are to remember it. So taking notes actually makes it more likely that you will remember something, even if you throw the notes away as soon as you take them. Just the fact that you're doing something else with the information and processing it in a more elaborate way. The more you go from sounds or the look of the word on the page to the meaning of the word, to the meaning of the sentence, to the meaning of the paragraph, to what's it mean for life, all of that kind of elaboration. And again, as more depth of processing makes it more likely that you remember it later. You don't always have a lot of control over this, but when you do, contextual cues, even ones that are sort of trivial, can be a big help. If we were having an in-class exam, sit-down in-class exam in the course, the best place to study for the exam would be in this room. And even like physical cues and stuff help. So like, if you know you're going to be anxious when you take an exam, you should be anxious when you study for the exam. Shiva?
What about smells? Because I read that like smells are good cues.
Smells are good cues for memories. And if you have ways of intentionally using them, it can be really helpful. I think a lot of times they're more like, they tend to be more like inadvertent cues. Did you have an example in mind? I'm just trying to think of a way which you could use like a smell.
I just remember in my undergrad study courses we talked a bit about that because the entorhinal cortex is really close to it. Like it's part of the
yeah.
It's connected to the memory system.
Yeah.
Powerful. For me, it evokes memories. Like I'll come up with picture smells and I'll think back to my childhood or something.
Yeah.
But I can never use it to remember
Yeah,
anything.
this one's they're really very powerful cues for memories, but I was getting a little stuck on ways in which you could use it in a more deliberate fashion. I can remember in my grad school years being in the library stacks at Indiana University and suddenly having these very vivid memories of my high school girlfriend. And it took me a while to realize that the reason this was happening was somebody about one aisle over in the stacks was wearing the same perfume that she had worn. And it was kind of doing that. A couple of times on campus when the magnolia trees are in bloom, and it'll key off different childhood memories from growing up in a small town in the South.
I've heard before that smell is a really powerful cue to memory, but it doesn't really ever cue mine. Is that weird? I've never smelled something and been like, wow, this reminds me of back in the day, and then a story pop up.
Yeah?
No.
Well, everybody's different. I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah, we all have different associations and what we tend to, and sense modality issues can be very important in memory. And, people use different sense modalities differently in their whole memory and thinking processing. I think you can overdo this, and there have been some sort of pop psych things that certainly have, but some people really process a lot of things from, I keep wanting to go back and forth between these two models, from like sensory memory on down into the system. Some people are much more comfortable with the visual modality all the way through. And there's actually some really interesting kind of theoretical work on what most of what we think about in terms of the size of working memory is based on verbal auditory working memory. And the whole question of what it means, what visual working memory is, and what the capacity of it is. Because in general, visual images, if you really think in visual terms, visual images can contain a lot more information than the auditory flow of words can. And so people can potentially have a lot more cognitive chunks, to use a really technical term, if you're in visual processing than you can in auditory processing. But something I remember, after class last week, people were asking some questions about language differences, and I couldn't tell you what the reference for this is, but there was some stuff about the whole time issue and auditory memory and working memory store, where people actually compared English words and Welsh words for numbers as a test of the capacity of working memory. And I think they ended up checking about the same, although the Welsh words are much longer than the English words are. So there are a few examples like that of kind of cognitive cross-language, which will be a big help to all you Welsh speakers. So certainly one big difference in the system is auditory versus visual cueing, and to some extent knowing what you're better at and more comfortable with can be a big help in this. I think, although I think there's been a lot less research on it, I think some people are also just kind of much better at the kind of movement, physical sensation kind of processing. So if you're like more of an athlete or a dancer or something, movement is a different way of encoding things. And my only kind of trivial example of this is I have a numeric long distance code as a faculty member here at the university that I use quite a bit. And I've used it for so many years that what I remember is this. And when I've had to give it to other people, I usually have to go over to a phone with a keypad and punch it in to get back to what the numbers actually are, because I just, I do it physically, spatially. The memory is now there rather than the auditory or visual memory for the string of numbers it is.
What about how a blind person might encode it? Might be through hearing or touch or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I've seen some things on that aren't coming right back. So, you're thinking about context cues, including.
Well, I don't know, I don't know what I was thinking. Like if, let's say you're presented with an object and you can't look at it, you can't see the shape or the color, so you'd have to feel it.
Maybe some combination like the feel and.
And then the color doesn't matter.
And
So that
vision.
maybe there's something else about it that you notice the feeling.
The hearing, rather.
Well, yeah,
The
actually, I
feeling.
was thinking of, I said deaf. I meant to say blind. I did say blind?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
You're starting to go in a different direction. No worries. You're good.
Okay, good.
I don't know that I know the answer.
No, I'm just thinking about it because, when you one sense is compromised, then your other senses you're using to make up for it.
I don't remember if they got very good results for people who have always been blind. I know there's been some stuff that says that even if you lose your sight really early, people tend to retain the internal visual processing, even like really early in childhood. But I don't remember what the other stuff looks like. So more broadly, like contextual cues, or say like the physical cues, emotional cues. There actually has been some work on like interventions for alcoholics, where they do the training in bars, not in the actual bars, but they create like analog bars in the rehab unit and have you sit in the bar while you're doing your intervention training, because it's where you need to remember the stuff, right? Drinking while you study is only a good idea if you're going to be drunk when you take the exam. Best performance in both cases, like if you can be relaxed when you study and relaxed when you take the exam, you're best off. If you know you're going to be anxious when you take the exam, you should be anxious when you study. Because big and mismatched moods gives you worse performance because you don't have those context cues. And similarly, like if you drink when you study, which I don't recommend, you will do better if you're at a similar level of intoxication.